Luke, I'd like to start, if I may, by asking you a bit about Dan Crowley, because we saw him last week score a great goal, have a very big hand in the first three goals as well. It strikes me that in terms of, not in terms of around knots, but further afield, perhaps it's names like Macaulay Langstaff, David McGoldrick that get the headlines. But just give me an idea about how much you're enjoying having him in your team, and how important he is to the way you play this season.
Yeah, I've been really very very impressed with the quality of his play. I'm very impressed with his commitment to understanding what I want him to do, and he's probably at times in when you're in the process of arriving at the club, it can be, for a player like Dan Crowley, I think initially it can feel quite like restrictive, and not allowing him to move too much around the pitch in probably a way that he's done previously in his career. But I think now he's understanding that rather than be many actions, he's making very very key actions. And I think when you have a player of that quality, if you can put him in the right area of the pitch, then well, you can see the proof of what he can do when he gets in the right area of the pitch, and he has players that are understanding what he's trying to achieve, and they make the runs for him, and they give him the ball in the correct way. He's a very very talented player.
Fair to say then, given that, is there more to come from him this season, do you think? Maybe he's still kind of adapting to that role and getting better within it?
Yeah, I think so, because he has the fire. I think he has, in a really good way, as a chip on his shoulder, because he has like a lot of still points to prove, and that's I like that. I think that's great, and I think that the other thing that is interesting, I think, for people to know about Dan is that I know he had probably some unkind words towards him after the game. He made a reference to his faith in the post-match interview, and I think he received some unkind comments on that. And I feel like when we have seen over the years bad examples of footballers, and that they're there to be shot at times, and that's part and parcel of being a footballer. But when a guy like Dan Crowley is playing football in an incredible way, like to entertain people, playing with passion, he runs for the club and he puts his body on the line, tries to make tackles. It's something that he probably didn't do too many times in his career. But I think when a player is lighting the place up and quite clearly he's prepared to put his body on the line and run, and then behind that, what we see on the pitch is a guy with, and I'm not talking about religions, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the principles of the way that he lives. He's a family man. Like he's an incredible guy. Like the way he tries to look out for people, and the way he communicates with the staff. Like, he's not out drinking. He's not gambling and making a terrible example. He's making the best example. Like, play on the pitch with passion and flair, and then be humble and kind off the pitch. So I think we should really embrace that more. And if you don't agree with his choice of religion, okay, but let's judge him on how he behaves as a human being. And I'm so impressed with him. I'm so impressed with him on the pitch. I'm so impressed with him, the way he lives his life as well. And I think it's a way that we should say, we respect that. Religion maybe is not for me, or for somebody else that have a different faith. That's fine, but he's doing things in a really, really great way. And I think I'm so happy that we have him here with us now.
His faith's such a big part of who he is, isn't it? Every time you speak to him, he makes reference to it. You've also got John Bostock in your squad, who runs a group all for Christians playing football, the ballers in football. Is it something that players talk about? Is it a part of dressing room talk? Do you use it, or is it just separate from football in that sense for you?
And we have Junior Marias as well, and these three guys, they study together at times, and I think what an incredible thing. Like, guys off in the bookmakers and spending their money, and when their career finishes, they can't remember where all the money went, because they You know, these sort of things have been a problem in football because sometimes, like the pressure, the adrenaline, and then you have a bit of spare time. This can be like a real cocktail where young guys, imagine, you know, you're playing for Notts Counties and you're in one of the greatest cities. So you have all these things available to you and you have a status and people want to be with you and hang out with you and, you know, encourage you to do things maybe that are not, you know, that are not great. And we know that happens in football, but we have these three guys that they train so brilliantly, the way they communicate to people, they're such like caring people, they have so much respect for people, they're ferocious on the pitch, they're competitors, you know, they put their body on the line and the rest of it, but they have this incredible mixture. And I think, okay, I'm sure the players talk about it between themselves. I don't talk too much about their faith. I just respect it. I just respect it because it's a positive thing. If I thought that their faith was meaning that, you know, I don't know, let's say for example they're doing something that is making a distraction, you know, if it was like really extreme and it's distracting them, maybe I'll need to say, look, I respect your religion, but if you're going to be a player for Notts County, you have to focus more. You can't be doing this thing and that thing that's taking your time and attention away from your profession, otherwise I'm not going to be able to pick you. We're not talking about that. We're talking about guys that look after their family around them. We're guys that spend time studying things that only have a positive impact on them and the people around them. And I show respect and keep my distance because I don't understand. I don't have enough, you know, knowledge to communicate in that way. But I think it's just such a positive thing, and I'm proud of those boys. I really am.
Yeah, that's really interesting as well about having a communities within a squad as well, which I guess is important because, you know, I guess not in this instance, but sometimes you don't want little kind of groups breaking off. But when it's a positive little one like that, you kind of, I guess it can have an impact on everybody else as well, can't it?
No, you just said it so brilliantly. Like, it's a real thing. We have cliques in football because human beings will always have cliques because you relate to somebody in a certain way and it just draws you towards that person. And that's actually fine. When it becomes a clique that these guys just go and play poker together and then people start losing a bit too much money and then there's a little bit of beef because somebody felt like... And these things are just negative. Or, you know, you have a drinking culture and you have a group that they like to go for a drink a couple of nights a week and they feel, oh, it's no problem. That is a problem because you can't perform like a top athlete. We're not talking about that. And you said it actually better than me. I think you should do it. But... you know, they have like a group, a community that only has more positive staff, that they go and do their thing together. Nobody feels like, okay, why didn't we get invited for dinner? Or why didn't we get invited for this or that? No, because everyone understands, oh, that's because they have a faith that they share. You know, imagine you go to the coffee shop, but you just decide to not invite some players. I think I'd be hurt because it doesn't matter the religion or this or that. You could go to the coffee shop. You don't even have to have a smoothie if you don't drink coffee, but... you understand what I mean? But this is like their thing that everyone respects. Oh no, that's their thing. It's a real thing. They're not making it up. They're religious. They're studying together. And then when they come back to the group, they respect everybody and communicate with everybody. Sit down for dinner, lunch with any player. John Bostock, Junior Moraes, Dan Crowley. Come on, these guys, you can sit with them. You can talk about any subject. They're not like so radical that you can't... you know, we say like sometimes... for example, you drop something, you go, oh, Jesus Christ, and John will say it's not his fault, you know, like in a nice way, like in a you know, in a friendly way, but it's not like over the top, like they're trying to make everyone, oh, you have to be now really, and you can't say, no, they're really sensible with it and they're really respectful with it. And you know, I don't like to hear people saying bad things about some people that are so incredible, and I think more behaviour like that. I'm not talking about more people be religious. I'm talking about more people behave in the way that these guys behave is going to be a really good place to be.
Just one final thing I wanted to ask you about, and that was the fans forum thing the other night. Because I've seen a lot of supporters have come out of that feeling very closely connected to the club and very hopeful for the future of the club. And I wonder from your point of view how important those nights are, because you're obviously training with the players every day, but to get to spend a bit of time there and talk face to face with supporters and have those kind of evenings, how important are they to you?
Yeah, they are. They're so important. And you know, the reality is that it was an extremely long day for me. You know, I'm at the club from from like 8 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. And this morning I was tired. I'll be honest, I was tired because I think I have a responsibility to show like enthusiasm and to be present and concentrate and have energy to give to the people that make all of this a reality. And I take that really seriously, and that's probably why one or two times I probably got really animated, because I got some stick today from a few people, yourself included, was lovely, but I got some stick because I probably, I'm so conscious that I want to try to give like some people coming out of their way, making sacrifices to come and see us home and away, to come to turn up to the event, and like the overwhelming sense of passion for the club and the love for the club. Then I feel under pressure there because I need to match it, like, and that's how we have like a nice connection, I think. And if you don't keep watering the plants, they don't grow. So we have to keep energy, we have to keep with the enthusiasm, we have to keep trying to make the effort to connect with the people that make all of it a reality, and it's actually their club, So I think it was brilliant, and I'm always enjoyed seeing the fans, and one or two now we know each other as well, so it's lovely.
Great stuff, Luke. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Over to you, Sam.
Luke.
Hello.
You said a couple of times in interviews that you still feel that your team's adapting to the division, so I was just wondering if there's, when you mentioned that, is there anything in particular that you're thinking about that maybe your team's still getting to grips with in terms of the teams you're facing in this league?
The overriding one for me is that we have to maintain a good level for longer. Excuse me. I think we've been 4-0 up, 3-0 up, 2-0 up at half time, and opposition didn't really manage to get a grip of the game, couldn't get a foothold in the game. And we need to maintain that, because too many times we lowered our level of concentration, our intensity, and the other teams are still there. They're still there. I think maybe last season we were able to cope with the latter stages of the game without even being at full tilt. We're almost coasting over the line, and now that's not reality, because the teams are too good, the players are too good, the conditioning is too high. So we have to improve, how we can play our top football for longer, and that's why the work is still going on today. 3 meetings, very intense training. Small groups breaking off with 4 different coaches to come on. Let's get better at these key actions, and then come all together after that. Play 11v11 football, tough, competing against each other properly. Then run at the end, because we have to keep the conditioning up. Then come back to the stadium, 2 meetings with 2 different units, and then come and talk to you lovely people. So we have to try to make the most of our time to improve our level, and I still think that we have a way to go, and if we can push on more, if we're third and we can push on more, can we stay there? Can we achieve automatic promotion? Let's at least aim for it by trying to improve our performance.
Is that part of sort of the ambition of the club and the team, that you sat where you are on the table, being a newly promoted side, and you're still, the main focus has been on improving and what you can improve on?
When I heard, like, for example, last night, I think is the most shirts we sold, like, from in the records. They can't go back to find when we sold more shirts, and the average attendance is, I don't know, higher than it's been, a long time. Yeah, and the momentum is there. So we have to, that when I hear things like that, I feel pressure in a good way. Like, I better get to work and try to give us margins, and I have a group of players that want to do that as well. So, we won 4-2, we're third in the table, but we had a tough week. Because we shouldn't concede the 2 goals in the second half when we're that much in control. And when we're selling the shirts out, and we have a full attendance, and we have people travelling up and down the country to watch us, we have to keep going. So I'm hoping that we can improve our performance in the coming weeks and have a good end to the season.
Cheers, Luke.
Thank you.
Jordan.
Hi, Luke.
Hello.
Firstly, got Wimbledon coming up. What threats do you think that they can pose for you guys? And obviously, historically, they've won the last 2. when you guys have played each other in the League Two? What threats do you think they pose?
I think the biggest threat is that they know what they're doing and they have a clear way that all the players bought into, because I think they have a manager with like charisma, and he knows what he wants, and they obviously listen to the manager and believe, because they're very, very good. So I think they can cause us a big problem with their style of play and how in tune they are with it. So we have to try and make our style of playing see who comes out on top. But yeah, I don't think they need to. I doubt they're going to change anything for us. I don't think they're going to be intimidated by us. So we have to go there and make a really good performance and show them what we are about as well. But yeah, it's going to be a hard game for us for sure.
Like every game, it's all about keeping your intensity throughout the whole 90 minutes. But do you think this is like a game where that certainly is the case, where you can't kind of switch off for too long because a team like this is up for it? They will try and capitalise on that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. If we want to come away with anything from the game, we're going to have to maintain as high a level of performance as we can for the entire game. That's it. If we don't do that, it can be more difficult. But that's what we're gearing up to do. That's what we've been talking about. We believe that, you know, we can play football that can be a problem for any team in the division, but it's how long we can maintain that, and that's the challenge. And certainly we get tested in that department at the weekend for sure.
Like you said earlier, more shirt sales, more people turning up watching the games. Do you find now that fans and the team are more united? But as well, what do you think fans expect about this season, where they expect to finish?
I don't know where they expect to finish, where they expect us to finish, but they expect us to perform, and that means excitement and goal mouth action, and that means people being prepared to run hard to take the ball off the other team and be brave like that. So we know the performance that they expect from us, and where we finish in the league. I don't know what the expectation is, but certainly I understand the level of performance they want, and I think many times we get close to that, and that's the body of work, is to try and give our best performances for longer, and I'm sure that will stand us in good stead in league position as well.